Good afternoon. I hope everyone is having a blessed day. I'm Christopher with Triton Relief Group, and we're a 501c3 nonprofit, and you can find us at tritonrelief.org or on Facebook, facebook.com/tritonrelief. The topic of this video is flooding and the Mississippi River. As some of you know, the Mississippi River has been quite high for a while. The levee system is precarious at best. The Army Corps of Engineers is currently monitoring several locations where seepage is occurring, and there have been news articles about the undermining of the levee systems in Baton Rouge. Now, I was there yesterday, and I can tell you, when I walked over the levee, I got a sudden rush that felt like I was falling. I mean, it was a really bad feeling, like something was really wrong with this picture. As I was driving down the river road in Baton Rouge, the first sign I saw that concerned me was the water seeping from the foot of the levee. Now, this was happening all along the length of the system that I observed, although I only saw a tiny fraction. In some parts, it was running over the river road. Now, I'm not an engineer, and I don't claim to know what I'm talking about, but I've spoken to engineers, and I've watched demonstrations, and we're looking at a couple forms of possible failure here. First is seepage. I saw water seeping under the levee. Are they saturated to the point of failure? I don't know. I'm not an expert. But there was water coming out from under the levee, and that's worrisome to me. It's not gushing, but it's there. When you get seepage, the levee fails by water literally pushing its way under the levee. I don't think this water is coming from anywhere else. I mean, where else can it come from? But from what I saw, there is water coming under the levee, all along the base. That entire area was wet. They were mowing the grass in the section that I saw, and it was obvious. The tractors were driving in areas that were saturated, and you could see their ruts as well as the wet areas at the base of the levee. The next type of failure can be what they call stability, where the levee sheds a section because it's saturated due to the constant presence of water. Again, water has been up against the levees for how long now? What are the chances of a stability failure? Normally you start to see cracks where the levee's about to fall off. I didn't see any of those from the tiny section that I surveyed, but what are the chances of the levee failing in this method? Because they've been exposed to water for so long and not been allowed to dry out. There's more water coming and little relief in sight. Finally, let's talk about overtopping. There wasn't much play when it came to overtopping the levee, maybe 10 or 12 vertical feet. It wouldn't take much more water to overtop the levee. They are already talking about overtopping of the Morganza. What would it take to overtop the levee somewhere else? Now, we're talking about a lot of water that's going to be required to overtop these levees, but there's a lot of water coming. Right now, there's a surge of water in the Arkansas River, stretching from the river gauge at Pendleton to Fort Smith, Arkansas. Almost the entire river across the entire state of Arkansas is in some level of flood stage. Many of the gauges have already surpassed records. The gauges from Little Rock to Pendleton are still rising, indicate where the bulk of the water is located. But there are still rivers in the northern section of the Mississippi drainage area that are in major flood stage. All that water has to go down the Mississippi. Although the Corps can open the Morganza, there is little protection should the levee breach to the north, and almost every gauge on the Mississippi is at some level of flood stage. And according to the Corps of Engineers, it's transporting over 1 million cubic feet of water per second. Why hasn't the Corps of Engineers released some of that water to the Morganza? Why not divert it down, let the levees dry out, and eliminate the possibility of failure? What's the other option? What happens if you suddenly release the water into downtown Baton Rouge, or New Orleans, or West Baton Rouge because of a failure of the levee? I think the answer is obvious. We'd have a lot of people needing rescue, just like during 2016. That's why we need you to sign up and volunteer right now. Get your name in, get your background check cleared, get your gear ready. We're currently working on free training courses for boaters in swiftwater rescue, floodwater rescue, rescue operations, and more. For people wanting to know more about disaster operations that don't necessarily want to work on a boat or deliver supplies. We have over 100 courses in emergency management. You can take these entirely online and get certifications. Some of them are even good for college credits in an emergency management degree. All of these are free to approved volunteers, and you can sign up to start volunteering today. If you don't want to work disaster relief, you can help us with media relations or marketing, if that's your thing. Help us with artwork, photography, and videography. We need people to document projects and operations. We need people to take pictures of floods. We need people to work on videos. We're going to continue to keep an eye on the situation as it develops. Subscribe to our channel, like our Facebook page at facebook.com/TritonRelief, and volunteer. Carry each other's burdens, and in this way, you will fulfill the law of Christ. I'm Christopher for Triton Relief Group.